Welcome. I would love to share with you today an exercise or practice that I use daily. I use it multiple times a day, in fact. It's a very simple practice that has actually evolved over time for me, and I share it with you in the way that it is now so that you can adapt it to your own life and see if it helps you with clearing up the mental and emotional weight that often weighs us down. So what this practice is practice of cord cutting, or in other words, releasing attachments. Why is that important? Well, I really believe that all of us are, in ways not completely known to us or that we're not completely aware of, attached to things in our lives that are really just meant to be connections. And so an intention that I have for us in this session is to discern viscerally the difference between being connected and being attached. Okay? And this goes not only to our external environment, but also to ourselves. Being connected to ourselves versus being attached to ourselves. It's a very different experience. And I believe that many of us, until we start adding practices like this into our lives, live our lives in the world of attachment more than connection, thinking that it's a connection, but in reality, it's an attachment. So in this session, I just intend to share with you a practice that I drop into for myself that really helps me get clear on connection versus attachment. So first things first, if this is something that you would like to tune into for yourself, find a place where you can be seated comfortably with your back upright, totally supported, and that you can breathe for the next 30 to 45 minutes or so. A place where you can really breathe and be yourself. Undisturbed, undistracted. So take your time. You can pause this video if you need to go find that spot for yourself. But if you're already there, then join me right now just in getting connected to yourself. So I'll be doing that for me. So please start the process for yourself if you already have one. If you don't, if this is your first time, then right now feel free to take your gaze away from the screen. Just imagine that we really are sitting here in this room together, and if we were, it would be really awkward if you were just staring at me. So tune into yourself, please. You can do that by focusing on your breath right now, just noticing where it's at. You don't have to change anything about it, you just have to notice. Are you breathing with your mouth? Are you breathing with your nose? Is it a deep breath? Are your breaths kind of shallow? Or have you been holding your breath until now? Until I mentioned to notice where you're breathing. So whatever it is, just connect to it. Take your time. And then whenever you're comfortable, then just start bringing in a deeper breath. Letting your body relax enough so you can actually feel that breath reaching your belly. Now, if this is the first time ever that you have tuned into yourself, maybe it's a little uncomfortable for you to do this. That's okay, right? It doesn't have to feel great every time we're exploring and imploring some spaces. So be gentle with yourself. Be curious, be open, compassionate. So if it doesn't feel that great, it's okay. We're actually here to release some of that so that you can start feeling more connected to yourself and feeling good in your own connection. So, however it feels for now is okay. And let's put some work into the breath so that we can allow our body to feel more okay with being present in this space. All right? So, to do this breath work, first need to let you know that it is important that you're not driving, which I don't know why you would be. Just don't do this while operating anything else but your own body, okay? Also, if you have heart conditions or health conditions that you feel might hinder your ability to fully breathe in the same way that I'm breathing, please tune into yourself, okay? We are here to empower, and that means you really tuning into your body. So I will be introducing a breath pattern that has a little bit more oomph to it. So please don't feel like you need to keep up with that breath if you can't. You can go slow, but as long as you're paying attention to your own breath and your own body, that's how you know you're doing it right, okay? If you're tuning into me more than you, then essentially you're giving me power. I don't need it, okay? Keep yours, I'll keep mine. So let's connect to ourselves in this space with breath. And it's going to be very simple, powerful inhales and exhales, like pulsing, either through the nose or the mouth, whichever you feel comfortable with. And it will look and sound like this. Okay? Bringing that just in the belly. We'll do that 100 times. Feel free to go at your own pace. Keep it consistent as much as you can and tune into your body throughout the process, right? I'm going to start. You can follow me whenever you're ready. 3, 2, 1. We're halfway there. You can place a hand on your belly if that feels good for you. Good, you got this. Keep going. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Now just deep breaths. Just like that. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good. Feel that breath open up your belly and open up your chest. When you inhale, when you exhale, feel it all release. If your body needs to move and adjust as you balance out this energy throughout all of you, please do so. Just getting you to connect to yourself, your body, as much as your mind and your spirit. Okay, keep that breath circulating. You might be noticing a sensation of energy, whatever that feels like to you. Maybe a temperature change, maybe some tingling, maybe some numbness, some tightness, some pain. Whatever it feels like to you, could be something different from that. Just tune into what that is. Then bring your attention to your hands and your feet. And as you breathe, Notice how it feels when that energy flows in towards your hands and your feet. Good. Awesome. We're going to do another round of that breath together. Again, you're free to breathe however you wish to. You're welcome to join my breath as well. We'll go together in 3, 2, 1. Good. Keep that going. You got this. Making that in and out as even as you can. Really balance. Letting your body really take that into an automatic mode of breathing. So you don't have to think about it. Your body is just breathing itself. So if that means slower, slow it down. Good, you're getting it. Good job. Let your mental state, your emotional state, your physical state, and spiritual state align through your breath. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. And just inhale. And exhale. Excellent. Keep that going now. Inhale. The deepest inhales you've ever taken. And the fullest exhales you've ever let out. Just keep that circulating now. Beautiful work. While you're breathing in this way, imagine that there is a beam of light running straight through your core, your spinal cord. That beam of light coming down from your source, whatever you believe that is, up above, connecting you all the way down into the earth's core down below. And just breathe and feel that light radiating through your whole body. To support that, with your next exhale, let out a sound. I recommend Om. And as you let that sound out, really feel it in your body, okay? Let whatever sensations need to show up, just be there, be with it. As you let the voice out, if there's emotions, let it out. It's okay. Okay, we'll do 3 sounding breaths. Inhale. Good. Last one. Beautiful. Excellent. Now just imagine that there is nothing but light all around you. as you're breathing in and out continuously from this point forward. Just allowing my voice to be a guide for a visualization process that would allow us to physically experience ourselves releasing attachments. Okay? The only thing I will need from you is to continue that breath in that way. All right. Continuing that breath, keeping that light bright in your body. Continuing to allow this beam of light nourish and energize your body as you allow these attachments to release. It's very important. It's a very important part. So please stay connected to that, because we need you to stay connected to yourself. That's the main thing. All right. Just before we actually go into the practice, I'm going to explain how this affects us, why attachments and releasing them are important for our own self-healing and self-growth. Now, a lot of us have in the past faced experiences or certain events that have created wounds within us, kind of like gaps of awareness is another way that we could frame the word wounding. A gap in awareness of ourselves. And those gaps you can visualize as, like literally a void or a hole within ourselves. Now that exists mentally, emotionally, and even physically when we relate to it in a form of an energy. So there's a gap in awareness of ourselves, and so it's kind of like a wound that without awareness of ourselves and that part, that space, that void, we cover like band-aids with connections with things outside of us. Certain things, certain people, certain events, certain memories even. And those things become this band-aid that become constantly needed to remain there in order for us to not sense that gap, the void, the wound, the lack of awareness that exists in that part of us. And so when we allow ourselves the connection to ourselves first, which is what we're doing with breathwork, to feel our innate power, our sense of self, our love, filling those gaps from within, we allow ourselves the ability to remove these band-aids or these attachments without feeling the hurt of a raw wound underneath it. If that makes sense. It's easier to heal it from the inside out than to continue to cover up with a false sense of healing, which is our attachments. That will always have to be there because we haven't really healed from the inside out. So your breath in this, the reason why I'm calling it in, is because that is essentially bringing that beam of light to meet these gaps of awareness within you from the inside out. As we go into the practice of releasing these attachments with things, people, places, events in our external environment. not so that we lose our connection to them, but so that we can then form a true connection with them, not an attached need. Okay? So I hope that's clear for why and how to conceptualize this practice. So, stay with your breath. Bring in a few more pulsing breaths if you need to find yourself in that energized place again, okay? All right. First things first, eyes closed. I want you to visualize the first thing that you thought of when I even mentioned the word attachment. Whether it was a person, whether it was an event. Now this can be a past or a future thing if you're talking about events or things, right? If you are a realtor, for example, if you are thinking of a deal that you want really badly or a home that you want for your sellers and you're thinking about that future event and that's what you're attached to, use that as your example. If you're not sure, think of the person in your life right now that you are closest to and that you think about most. Because that would be the best place to start for you to learn the difference between connecting with this person and being attached to them. So if it's a parent, a sibling, a spouse, whatever it is, a friend, bring that into your awareness, okay? And now, with your mind, I know it might seem challenging to do, but I promise your mind can do this. Imagine that thing that you're visualizing in yourself is being put into a golden sphere, like a balloon, okay? Like, it's like you're seeing that in your head and you're now seeing it floating in front of you in a balloon, a golden balloon, and it's floating in front of you. And also visualize that there is a cord. It can be a string, a ribbon, a chain, whatever comes into your intuition as your way. Remember, this is a practice I'm sharing. This is not the way to do things, but it's a way to do things. And I hope yours evolves for yourself. So imagine that there's a connection of some sort between you, probably in your center here. But if you feel like you know in your body that there's another place physically that you feel a connection to that thing, then allow that cord to connect not only to your center, but also to that part of your body. So if it's your forehead, if it's your throat, your shoulders, your hips, wherever you feel like when you start to think about this thing now and visualize this event, when you start to breathe, where you may have found parts of your body has contracted to that, just form all the cords from yourself to that balloon. Just let it be there and let that cord be golden, all right? Good. Now, before we do anything else, let's leave that attachment there. Just gonna bring the power back up, okay? So we're gonna do a round of 25 power breaths. So when you're ready, join me. Let's go. Really make them powerful and really feel like this beam of light is sending golden light all through you as you do this breath. If you want to amp it up, use your mouth. Good, release, and let's take 5 deep breaths. And as you're doing these deep breaths now, I want you to imagine that your whole body is golden and that your hands face up on your lap as you're breathing are accumulating a very dense golden light around them. Your hands are going to be your best tool for this exercise and your life, really. So really let them feel energized. Let that sensation of energy with every breath really strengthen at your hands. Good. Excellent. Now, what you're gonna do is we're gonna release. We're gonna use our own hands to cut these cords. And how we're going to do it is like this. 7 times, we're going to use our hands to wipe away the part of that cord that is connected to us. Now, you can do this 7 sweeps, or you can count to 7 for 1 sweep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right? If it's connected to more than one place, let yourself sweep all the areas, wherever it may be. For some of you, this may be the first time you are properly touching yourself. So really notice how it feels when this connection to you releases. Beautiful. Now, I feel very called to share that just because we've released this connection to ourselves doesn't necessarily mean we want to lose the connection to the person. So what we're going to do is, now that the attachment has been released, see that that bubble is still floating there, okay? That event, that thing, that person, whatever it is. See that it is still floating there. Now connect a new cord from your heart to that bubble. All right, see it in your mind's eye. I know you can do it. Good. With your heart, we're going to take 25 more breaths, and we're going to see and visualize that golden cord from our heart just shooting golden light through that cord into that thing, full of love. All right? Join me when you're ready. Good, release the breath. Breathe and feel like you are sending this golden light towards this bubble, this golden bubble within which the thing, the event, the person, the place that you're currently attached to is being released. Good. Feel your love being sent into that bubble. Good. Now, same thing, because although this is a love, we don't want the attachment. We want it to remain a connection. So, 7 times, or for a count of 7, sweep that away with your hands, visualizing this golden light around your hands, powerful enough to cut that cord. Beautiful. And you can notice that that bubble can now float away from you or around you. It's free to be where it wants to be, as far away or as close as it wants to be. All right? If in that release you felt a sense of void, then I recommend that you place your hands and allow your golden light now to fill from the outside in that space within yourself. So let's breathe for another 25 and fill up that space of awareness within ourselves. You can choose to focus it into your heart and let the heart radiate it everywhere else, or if there is a certain place on your body elsewhere, then just feel free to place your hands there and fill in that gap. Okay? I'll use the heart. Let's go. Good, release, and just breathe in. Good, send your own loving light into yourself, close that gap, fill up your connection. And say to yourself, I've released my attachment and strengthened my connection. I have released my attachment and strengthened my connection. I have released my attachment and strengthened my connection. It's important to note that the connection to yourself is what is being strengthened first and foremost. From that place, you can be of true connection to the other, whatever it may be. And this also frees the other to start connecting to themselves, so that this attachment that once existed between both parties are no longer being used as band-aids to cover up unresolved parts. Like I said, I use this practice daily, multiple times a day. So when is it useful to use? Anytime you feel like you are thinking about or ruminating on or acting in a way that is obsessive over a certain particular thing outside of you, whether it's an event, a place, a person, whatever it is. Anytime you find yourself in a pattern of loop around that, imagine what we just did in that visualization exercise. First, always breathe, bring your energy up to meet it, put that thing in its own bubble, and then energize your connection to it with your love in that cord, and then release them. All right, let them float away. Some of these things, once you release them, they may float away and never come back, and that's what was meant to be. Some of these things, once you let them go, they'll stay. They'll just float, but it'll be free. And what that means is you have now released the weight and the pressure and the tension of needing to keep these unnecessary attachments, where all you are is a connection of love. And when you have that for yourself and this light within you is radiating throughout you, then all that exists around you is free to do the same. And that is empowered healing. So when you can use this is after Zoom calls, in fact, are a great time. After being in a place where you've been around a lot of people. Many of this happens on subconscious level, so I use it as like a daily energy hygiene practice. I am so sensitive in myself to things. Even if my husband comes home after a day of interacting with a lot of people, it's like I feel my physical body in many places start contracting just from him walking into the room. And so in that moment, instead of making it about anything other than, oh, I need to connect with myself in this and release wherever there are attachments being formed between him and I and the things that each of us experience throughout the day, where our emotional state is, mental state is, let's clear it up. And so much of what we're experiencing may not even be our own. And as you clear, it does not mean it's one and done. It's something that may be needing to be done multiple times because we are constantly connecting and attaching to things around us. Our subconscious mind has often been operating in that programming of attachment. So in this practice, it's about consciously reformatting that programming to allow our bodies to feel free and whole and healed with just being connected and not having to be attached.